Whether they fly, walk, or roll, vehicles are as crucial to our enemies' armies as they are to our own.
But maybe you've taken a closer look at these instruments of tyranny or democracy and thought to yourself, gee, that kind of looks familiar.
And it's no accident, Helldivers. Today we'll look at 5 vehicles that feature prominently in the Galactic War and discuss the inspirations behind their designs and weapon systems.
The first vehicle we have on this list comes courtesy of the insidious squids. Harvesters may not look very sturdy, but for those of you who have had the misfortune of facing one, you'll know just how troublesome these walking tripods are.
Harvesters stand on 3 legs and are heavily armored from top to bottom. To make matters worse, they're equipped with a shield that can block out even heavy orbital strikes and Eagle 500 kgs.
So where did the squids get the inspiration for these walking terrors? To answer that, we need to take a look at H.G. Wells' 1898 science fiction novel, War of the Worlds. In this story, Earth is invaded by tyrannical aliens from Mars. Ridiculous, I know. That deploy units that walk on 3 legs and use a heat ray to atomize their targets.
Sound familiar? Scenes like these are happening all over the galaxy. Wait a second. Anyway, yes. Harvesters are fitted with a high-powered energy beam that can reduce Helldivers and super citizens to ashes in the blink of an eye. It would seem the squids have taken a leaf out of H.G. Wells' book. How undemocratic.
Harvesters are seemingly named based on popular depictions of the tripods from War of the Worlds, in which they harvest humans, placing them in large metal baskets. Whichever way you slice it, it seems H.G. Wells' legacy lives on in the squid's harvesters. Imagine how the people of old Earth would react if they saw a harvester. Truly the stuff of nightmares.
We now turn our eyes skyward and toward the automaton front. By now you're all familiar with the bot's dropships. But unless you've dived on higher difficulty missions, you won't really know about automaton gunships.
These things can be a real pain if you aren't prepared for them. They may only have medium armor, but don't underestimate them. If you get in range of their scanners, prepare to be targeted and pursued relentlessly. And if you think one of these things is bad, well, a whole patrol is guaranteed to ruin your day.
Veteran Helldivers are all too familiar with having to take out gunship fabricators. In principle, this objective is easy enough, but if you're having to deal with bots both on the ground and in the air, things can get complicated really quickly. If you or your squad mates don't have the right weaponry for the occasion, just a tip, but the flak rounds on the autocannon works wonders here. All I can tell you is, you won't make it far.
Now, it is true that bots bear a resemblance to the T-800 Terminators from the franchise of the same name, but that's not where the similarities end. Indeed, if you compare gunships with the design of some of the aerial hunter killers, it's plain to see that there are some very definite overlaps. Note the front turbines that feature prominently on both the bot gunship and hunter killer. However, where the two differ is that the gunship also has a set of rear thrusters to keep it airborne.
To our understanding, there are very few or no VTOLs, that means vertical takeoff and landing, that have 4 thrusters. In this way, the bot gunship separates itself from its hunter-killer inspiration as well as any other craft that resemble it. This also ties it to the larger and more heavily armored bot dropships that ferry in clankers by the dozen. Still, in spite of some obvious differences, it seems gunships draw most of their influence from hunter-killers from the Terminator franchise. In any case, I'll be back, Helldivers.
Now, turning our eyes back to the brilliant light of democracy, you may have seen Eagle 1 flying overhead or sitting in your Super Destroyer's hangar and wondered how our engineers came up with such a design.
Eagles are the backbone of the war effort and the #1 choice when it comes to air supremacy. These aerospace assault craft can be loaded with bombs, rockets, napalm, and just about anything you could think of. And of course, if you've been on a planet with the DSS in orbit, you probably know exactly what an Eagle strafing run tastes like. It really is true when they say an Eagle never misses.
Eagles are highly versatile craft that can achieve immense speeds when in flight, and because of their considerable wingspan, they need to be folded up when not actively deployed in the field. Now, it's possible the Eagle draws inspiration from several jet fighters from old Earth, but according to the wiki, it would seem they're a combination of the fuselage of the Z-95 Headhunter and the wings of the ASF-01 B-Wing from the Star Wars franchise. That said, the wiki does also mention the V-19 Torrent, which more closely resembles the Eagle's design.
The Eagle actually reminds me of the Imperial Shuttle from Star Wars, but the way the wings are structured on this craft are quite different. As for old Earth fighters, well, with 2 turbines propelling it and an autocannon mounted to its nose, it's easy to draw some parallels between the Eagle and the Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II, otherwise known as the Warthog. And yes, this is also pointed out in the wiki.
The Eagle is the pride and joy of Super Earth and an assault craft that dispenses democracy without prejudice. Whether influenced by popular culture or the aircraft of yesteryear, one thing's for sure, you'd better not drop that 500 kg while you're running. You can trust me on this one. I'm talking from experience. We interrupt this democratic broadcast for this special announcement. Helldivers, still don't have any SES gear? Unable to purchase your favorite items right now? Well, never fear, because from November 24th to the end of Cyber Monday on December 1st, we'll be running Super Black Friday week. Absolutely everything in the SES online store will be 20% off during this period. Shirts, caps, desk mats, hoodies, every last thing for an entire week. We've lost our liberated minds. And sure, you might have a whole week, but why delay? When Super Black Friday week starts, head over to superearthsloot.store and buy your gear for 20% off. Shipping is worldwide, so no matter where you are, we'll get your democratic drip to you. Whatever you do, don't miss out. That's an order, Helldivers. We now return to your regularly scheduled briefing.
Our 4th vehicle on this list may be the biggest and most threatening of them all. You've probably seen them on the bot front, stomping on squads of Helldivers and doing multiple backflips when destroyed. That's right, I'm talking about the automaton Factory Striders.
Factory Striders are the largest bot units that come equipped with multiple laser cannons as well as the ability to mass produce Devastators. Long story short, if you aren't behind cover when one of these appears, you're going to have a very, very undemocratic day. And although they may have 4 legs and be the size of an apartment building, they move a lot faster than you'd think.
Taking out Factory Striders is no simple task, and while the Eagle may draw its inspiration from Star Wars, it looks like the bots have also been watching the films and reading the novels. In watching these movies, you've probably seen the massive walkers stomping across the icy wastes of Hoth in the 1980s classic The Empire Strikes Back. AT-ATs, short for All-Terrain Armored Transport, are 4-legged walkers that are used by the Empire as transport and combat vehicles. They stand about 20 meters tall and move slowly, but their massive size makes them extremely formidable enemies.
Now, AT-ATs do seem to be a little taller than Factory Striders, and their legs are much straighter by comparison. They also have front cannons that look almost identical to those seen on Factory Striders, but they lack the devastating top cannon that can one-shot unsuspecting Helldivers. There are some very obvious differences, but there's no doubting that Factory Striders are descendants of AT-ATs. Now, all we need to do is get an FRV and take one out like Luke does using his snowspeeder in the movie.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves here, Interloper. I'm all for risky tactics, but I think our Helldivers are already unhinged enough. Considering AT-ATs seem less stable, are slower, and have fewer weapons than Factory Striders, I think I'd rather face one of them on the battlefield if I'm being honest. And last on our list, we shine the limelight on one particular enemy that, while relatively new to the Galactic War, is as deadly as it is very, very annoying.
Ugh, you're talking about Stingrays? I hate those things. Like gunships, they're medium armored, but when in flight, they move way, way faster. It's only when these squid craft line up for a strafing run that they actually slow down. So while you or a squad mate may get a chance to fire on them, if you don't get out of their way, you're as good as dead.
Stingrays can be taken down with medium armor penetrating weapons and are virtually impossible to hit when they speed off into the distance. But don't worry, they'll definitely be back to take another crack at you. So, when looking at these aerial units, determining any kind of inspiration gets a lot harder. However, when I look at a Stingray, what I see is the agile fighter from the 1996 film Independence Day. Now, this may be a bit of a stretch, but it's immediately what came to mind when I first saw one.
Funny, I thought it had some pod racer vibes a la Star Wars, but maybe that's just me.
You know, that's pretty good, Interloper, but I think I've got it. So, some sources have cited Covenant Craft as inspiration, but if you look at the Protoss Corsair from the StarCraft franchise, and in particular the first StarCraft from 1998, the resemblance is uncanny.
Sweet Liberty, I think that's it. The giveaway is the 2 blue lights or blasters on the front. Surely that's the inspiration.
Well, in any case, Stingrays are super annoying on the squid front, and while they may have a pretty cool design, my democratic contempt for them goes far beyond simple aesthetics. The only good Stingray is a dead one.
And so ends this briefing, Helldivers. What did you think? Is everything we said on point? Or do you have better sources of inspiration for these vehicles? Let us know in the comments.
Like and subscribe and sign up for a membership today. Admirals get special perks, including the ability to talk to us, early sneak peeks, and front row seats to stream with us. And if you haven't yet, get your liberated apparel by visiting superearthsalute.store and placing your order right now.
That's it for today, Helldivers. If you want more videos like this, be sure to tell us. Until next time, stay forever liberated and never ever surrender. For Super Earth and democracy.